This is Catherine Kramer, Town Planner, and I will take a roll and then turn this over to our chair. Evan Honeyman.
Here.
Jay O'Leary. I think she got knocked off, so we will monitor to see if she gets back on. Jim Calciano.
Here.
Sally Hatzenbuehler.
Here.
Jay Bombara.
Here.
John Renahan. John.
You could be on mute.
I think you might be on mute. Just
Here.
We can hear you now. Thank you. Liz Dembski.
Here.
And Ted Stanford.
Here.
All right, thank you. We'll see. We are missing Sally at this point. I mean, excuse me, Jay. Sorry.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you all had a nice summer. We have a full house and a very busy agenda. I will call to order the virtual meeting of the Town of Farmington Historic District Commission for Tuesday, September 21st, 2021 at 4:02 p.m. I believe I need to appoint an alternate until Miss O'Leary returns. So I will appoint Mr. Renahan. And Mr. Secretary, would you please be able to read the entire public notice into the record?
Yes. Brickwalk Shops LLC application for temporary certificate of appropriateness to replace windows at 767 Farmington Avenue. Next one, James Calciano application for temporary certificate of appropriateness to replace fence at 33 Mountain Road. The next is Miss Porter's school application for temporary certificate of appropriateness to extend fence at 59 Main Street. The next will be William Nadler application for temporary certificate of appropriateness to install standby whole house generator at 35 Colton Street. And the last is Andrew Rainone application for temporary certificate of appropriateness to replace site lighting at 781 Farmington Avenue.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Secretary. For our first agenda item, we have Brickwalk Shops. I thought Ms. Marino was here, but it looks like Mr. Downen is here in her place. So could you please state your name and the address you're representing for the record, and then please proceed with your presentation.
Yeah, it's Patrick Downen, 14 Brickwalk Lane, Farmington. How do I bring up the gallery view?
So I have this is Catherine Kramer in the Town Planner's office. I have the application up on the screen. The commission members should be able to see my screen. If you just press your view, you should be able to see the application on the screen. Sure.
Oh, okay. I see what's going on here. You have to kind of. All right. So this I don't know who was sitting on the commission when we redid the dentist building. But this is a similar request that we take replace a failing large picture window with a current or a new window that's built a little differently, built to last, and also has you know, some better window, dual pane, much more efficient, and much more long lasting. I don't know, can you see the bottom of the, can you scroll down the application and you'll see the window scheme? Keep going. There, see, yes, exactly. All of the glazing in that window is failing, and it's become so calcified that it really wouldn't be feasible to try and to replace the glazing any further. It's shot. Again, we had a similar situation at the dentist, and I think it came out really well. We can keep the arch or the concave contour of the window, just with a more current window. That one. And the two flankers would be form the contour, if that makes sense.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to open it up to questions and comments from the commissioners, and we'll start first with Ms. Hatzenbuehler.
At this time, I don't have any questions. Looking forward to the building being, completed.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Renahan?
I'll defer to my team members who know Windows better, but I just more specifics on the Windows, the window itself. It would be helpful. Just the details of the materials and all that.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Sanford?
So it looks like you're giving us two options here, one being a bow similar to what's there now, and then another one that's a picture with two flankers. Is that correct? Because there's two estimates there or specifications. That one appears to be a picture with two flankers, and then if you scroll up, that one's a bow.
They're both, picture the casement bow icon below the next one down, and you have a bow again. What we don't like about the first one is all of the light we're going to lose with those double mullions.
Yeah, but the one below is not a bow.
Are you Frank's brother?
Yeah, I am.
When I talk, I only ask that just for frame of reference. When I talk to Frank, we can bow the flankers to create the contour.
Okay. Could you
And
scroll back up?
it brings in a lot more light and doesn't. The first one, you have the what is it, 4 or 5 very thick mullions. If you go up a little bit.
So that one's going to look more like the one that's there now. The one below it, even if you angle the flankers, it becomes a bay and not a bow. It's not going to have that curved appearance to it.
Yes, it is a bay. That's correct. We just like the fact that it brings in so much more light, undiffused light.
I think this one, as shown, is similar to what you put on the dentist office.
Correct.
Okay. I don't know that it really matters if it's a bow or just a flat window like that one is. Other than that, all the specifications on it, I think, are consistent with the other windows that you've replaced there. I like that you're putting 5/8 SDLs on it because that's more traditional look than the wider mutton bars. So I'm happy with either one. That's my only comments and questions.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Bombara?
Yeah, thanks, Ted, for covering, as John had also asked, for giving us a little insight into the windows. And I had noticed too, I thought that they were presenting an option. We could either choose the bow or a flat, but I understand now that you could, I guess, angle the flankers, as you call them, and create a little bit of a bow-like thing. I guess ultimately I don't, I'm sort of where Ted is. I'm sure they'll both look fine. Again, I appreciate the fact that you're using the same type of windows and materials that you've used in other improvements that, Patrick, you've made to the brick walk since you've owned it. So as long as they're consistent, I guess I'm not terribly concerned as long as there's nobody that thinks somehow, certainly the bow would look presumably okay, but that somehow the flankers that are going to be angled wouldn't look quite right. But what is on the, you replaced another window, similar window on the other building, and what is that? Is that a true bay, or is that angled flankers, or is that flat?
The dentist building is a flat, two-dimensional elevation. But it came out beautifully, and she's saving a boatload of money on her oil bill, and I think it's a great presentation, either flat or in a bay configuration.
So I guess ultimately, and again, I'm okay with any of the three, I guess, but I'm almost inclined to say the flat might be the way to go. One that would look kind of the same as the other building, but also clearly this bay window is not an original window for when the building was originally constructed. So we've had many changes over time. I understand there is some value to sort of the organic changes that have been made and trying to preserve some of them, but I think ultimately a building of this type especially probably would have had a flatter window if it had this large of a window. Certainly the studio buildings that some of the artists had would have had a flat, and do have still flat windows. So I kind of like the flat, but I'm open to whatever the consensus is of the commission. Well,
I'm glad you said that, because the arched window does create issues. They're not as watertight. They're more difficult to maintain. At least that's my opinion. I think flat would be, probably more in keeping with that gambrel, the gambrel elevation. I don't know if you guys noticed. I wanted to thank you, Kathy. I think went through the process with the siding on the hairdresser shop. I don't know if any of you have been through there, but the little hairdresser shop looks fantastic with the new siding on it.
Great.
Thank you.
That's all I have, Evan.
Thank you very much. Mr. Calciano?
Yes, I tend to believe that the bow window is the better choice. It is what is there, even though there's slightly less light. It is a rather large window. It does have that shed roof over it, which probably has saved that existing window over the years, because it gives some protection. But the bay window, with those flankers, I think it's an inappropriate design. I am not for it. That bow window is a unique design, and the attempt to maintain that semicircular motion is very important for the overall texture of the building and its appearance. I think the two side windows and the flankers, I'm really opposed to them. I think it's detrimental to the overall appearance that we already have. And I know that window was probably put in there. There's probably a couple of double hungs, but everyone's gotten accustomed to that building. It's a very unique design. The dentist's office, I believe, was already flat, so I had no problem. I voted for that when that came aboard, but I really think we're sacrificing design by approving anything other than a bow, the choice that's above this one. So I'm concerned about texture, appearance, continuity, and I really think that's how I'm going to vote. Okay.
Evan, may I ask, Jim, a follow-up question?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Actually, I didn't ask him a question, so it's a question. A follow. It's not a follow-up. The only, and I'm open to what you just said, and it's a good argument. What do you think about the fact that the bow that's being presented sort of has these thick, I don't know what you call them, borders between the sections? I mean, the current window, as we can see, it's a beautiful window, and it is too bad it can't be saved. But you're going to have these thick things, as Patrick said, interrupting or preventing some of the natural light from coming in. One, but two, I just think it's a little bit different of a look too. You see, if you notice this, these are all true mullioned windows, one big thing. Any thoughts on that, just from your own?
Yes, it's like, which do you sacrifice? To me, having a little less light, having those thicker divisions is much better than getting rid of that bow design. I think the cottages at the Historic Society have the same issue. Someday they're going to be coming in to see us to replace that window, which is very similar to this, only they have smaller panes, is frightfully expensive. So the fact that we would allow something with wider mullions, to me, is acceptable versus getting rid of that, rounded design. I think the rounded design is really important, and I would hate to lose it, because then it would look like any old modern building with with a front window with two flankers, and that's a very angular, very contemporary design that you see on every raised ranch in the country, or a ranch. So I believe that's how we should go.
Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Gemsky.
No questions. I think it was pretty clear after the last couple of questioners, so I'm good, thanks.
Okay, thank you. And Ms. O'Leary, I know you had cut in and out a few times during this hearing. Do you have any questions or comments? Ms. O'Leary? Okay. All right. Are there any other questions? Oh, John, Ms. Renan?
Hey,
No,
yeah.
I tried, oh, go ahead, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Is there a picture, and because I can't remember it, I know I've walked by it and looked at it, but is there a picture of, I think you mentioned the dentist office or another building that has had the window changed? Is that included in this?
I have a picture on my phone, but I don't know if I can, let's see.
Good luck.
And the reason I ask is because I do hear Jim's concern about just what it looks like and what kind of precedent we're setting.
I'm comfortable with the arched contour. My only comment was it would present, oh, there it is right there. That's the old one.
That's the old one?
Yeah.
What we got?
Good detective work,
Can you
Bill.
see this?
Thank you.
Damn Google.
Wow.
Nothing
Is this
can-
visible?
Who did that?
Actually, no, if you put it there and we pin it, we probably can.
Is that visible on the screen or not?
No.
You just got to put it in the center of the camera.
I'm not even sure where the camera is here.
Yeah, right there.
There?
There you go.
Scroll up just a little bit. Boop. Or,
Like that?
oh, now we're looking at the roll of, there you go.
Down a little more.
Down.
To your right.
There you
yeah,
go,
right
right
there.
there, don't move.
Looks like that's second.
It's the second one, yeah.
That looks pretty flat.
It is flat.
It is, yeah.
flat.
Oh, okay.
It was flat, and that's why I had no problem with that window, because it was flat. We kept the same design, and certainly that window will last, like Patrick said, a long time, as will this bow window. The materials are good, and I think for me, sacrificing a little bit wider mullions, it goes a long way.
No, look, I'm perfectly okay. I was simply commenting that there's pros and cons to either the flankers or the contour.
Okay. Are there any other questions or comments from the commissioners? Hearing none. I do believe that I saw Town Councilor Connolly's hand raised. I want to give him an opportunity to say something or ask a question.
Sure, I think it was just covered. I was just going to ask, didn't we approve a bowed window a couple of months ago across the street at the insurance company? I think we just looked at a picture of the old one. Oh, no. Bruce Hunter's place. Wasn't that a bowed window as well?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the one.
And we approved that. Didn't it have those kinds of thick components to it?
Yeah, it did. It was very
I thought
similar, very similar to the one that's in this proposal. It's the same brand too.
Great design, really.
That's the old one.
Yeah.
So I would just be very curious to see, since we've already approved something somewhat similar, is that something that that you guys need to consider, since it was approved not too long ago? And like you said, it's similar. So anyway, one way or another, it's your call. I just wanted to mention that.
Thank you very much. We'll open it up to any public questions or comments. So if you have any questions or comments, please raise your Zoom hand and Catherine will unmute you.
Yes, I'm monitoring the Zoom functions. I don't see any hands raised at this point in time. Last call for public comment. If you'd like to make a comment, please raise your hand in the Zoom function. Nobody.
All right, hearing none. Is there a motion on this application?
I'm here.
Okay. Are you going to make a motion for the bow window? I would venture to guess.
Exactly. I'd like make a motion for temporary certificate of appropriateness to replace the window at 767 Farmington Avenue with the bow window that was proposed by Patrick Downer.
I'll second that. I'll second that, Evan.
Thank you very much. We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on the motion?
I just for clarification, we're talking about page 1, the what's abbreviated to CSMT bow.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I know you'd get mad if I put the wrong one in.
Thank you, Patrick.
All right.
All right. No further discussion on the motion? All right, hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye and raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say aye. Hearing none, and any abstentions? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you very much, Mr. Downen.
All right, thank you.
Okay. For our second agenda item, our very own Mr. Calciano is here on behalf of 33 Mountain Road. I'm assuming he's going to abstain from voting, so I will appoint Ms. Gemsky to vote in his place. And Mr. Calciano, could you please just state your name for the record and the address you're representing?
Yes, James Calciano, 33 Mountain Road.
Okay, and please proceed with your presentation.
Most of you, I think there's some pictures of the existing fence that we have there. Basically, I have, my wife and I have 120 feet, there it is, of frontage. Approximately 110 feet of it is the existing pipe and wire fencing that has been there, I believe, for pretty close to 80 years at least. It's deteriorated substantially, and I've cut myself on it a number of times as the wire's failing. We wish to replace it with new and old fencing. And the reason why I'm saying new or old, I have two options. one option is the Walpole Fence. I think you have a picture of that, I think, Karen. It should be there somewhere. Yeah, okay. This is a fence that is already on Main Street and what's the street that the St. Patrick's is on? Bruce Engren's house.
Maple.
Yes, thank you. That's it. So that fence is very similar to what I'd like. However, this is a version. It's extruded aluminum. It looks great. It's not very strong, but the design is good. So that's one option. The other option is if we go to the Historical Society's two houses, right there, coming up, I guess, on Main Street. Nope, one more. There you go. Now, this fence, incidentally, I helped put in 20, 30 years ago. This is original iron fencing that was repurposed. I found somebody that had several hundred feet of it, and we purchased it from him, and he installed it. This is fairly close to what I have in old iron. So they have enough of this iron fence that will be just about the same as this, except that it's going to look like more of the aluminum one, where it's going to have two lines across the top, and every 6-7 feet will be a post with probably a round finial. The height will be approximately 48 to 52 inches. That fence in front of the Historic Society, that's about 52 inches. The other one is similar. So it's going to be somewhere around that height. They're going to be repurposing this old fencing, which is probably about 7 feet high. So they're cutting it down. So it's going to be old iron fencing, which will outlast most of us. That's about all on the presentation. If anyone has any other questions, be glad to answer them.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's see if anyone has any questions or comments. Mr. Renhan?
So Jim, it's just either or. Those are the two options, and you're looking for us for guidance. So I guess my comment is both are good options. I did just am curious on the strength and fortitude of one option versus the other. Like just what endures better. It seems like you had opinion.
Well, the one I know I'm going with, but I want the ability to have either or. But
Got it.
The one that has the longevity, it's already lasted 150 years. So I just want to repurpose it. That has incredible strength that will last another, as long as you keep it painted and maintain it, it'll last.
So is it either or because it's going to be a hybrid? Or?
No, what I'm saying is that if for some reason at the time I didn't know I had enough, he had enough of the material. So if I can do the iron, I want to do the iron. If I have to do the aluminum, I'll do the aluminum.
Mm.
And who knows, somebody in my family may change their mind.
Got it. Thank you. I'm good with both
Okay.
options.
Ms. Gemsky?
Can I just see the aluminum one again? I think I feel the same way. I'm just curious to see. Oh, okay. So that's what you're talking about, the two.
Yes.
Okay. That's what I was trying to picture. Okay. No, I think they're both good options. Either or. If you
Mr.
need help.
Bombara?
Yeah, well, one, I'm glad to hear that the height is going to be 48 to 52 inches. I saw the section of the iron you had out there. I got nervous, like Jim, it's going to look ridiculous.
That is the sample he's cutting down.
Yeah, I get it now. Yeah, the only question, Jim, it looks fine. I agree. Either would be fine. I do like the idea of using the iron. I especially like the idea of repurposing materials when you can. But one question, is there going to be any kind of gate or no? Is there anything going across the driveway? Any kind of gates or anything?
No, what's going to happen though, the driveway won't be 11 feet. It'll be more like 14 feet so a truck can get in my driveway without knocking them down.
Makes
No
sense.
gate.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm fine, and I'm fine, if the commission's fine approving, a certificate for either, material, if that's the consensus.
Thank you.
So this is Catherine Kramer. I'm just jumping in here. We have regulations regarding height of fences along streets. The max height is 4 feet. So let's maybe make a recommendation to the 48 so that we don't have to deal with.
Oh,
That's fine.
you heard that, Jim? I guess it's
That's
48.
fine. Yep, no, that's fine.
All right, thank you. Resolve that future problem if things were to be 52.
Okay, Mr. Sanford?
So Jim, my preference is the repurposed iron. I think that's more in keeping with Farmington Village than the aluminum. I know the aluminum has been approved in the past, but to me, it looks like aluminum fencing.
It does, doesn't it? I agree.
That's my only comment.
Ms. Hatzenbuehler?
I would echo that and say I like the idea of the iron being repurposed, and just to have the consistency and the continuity. I like that.
Okay. And I believe Ms. O'Leary has come and gone. I don't think she's on anymore. Ms. O'Leary, are you on? No, I don't think so. Okay. Any other questions or comments from the commissioners? Hearing none. If there are any questions or comments from the public, please raise your Zoom hand and Catherine will unmute you.
I see no hands raised at this point in time.
Okay. Hearing none. Is there a motion on this application?
I'll make a motion that we grant a temporary certificate of appropriateness for Calciano residents. I would say for either fence. I mean, I know Jim's going to do the best he can to try to use the iron, but if it's not available, I'd be okay with either. So I'm going to make the motion that either material would be acceptable at a height of 48 inches.
Second.
Thank you very much. We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on the motion? Now, Catherine, before we vote, do I need to reappoint an alternate? Because I appointed Mr. Renahan for the first hearing, but since Ms. O'Leary dropped off in the middle of the hearing, I'm not sure what to do.
Yeah, so we have Liz Gemsey's filling in for Jim, and yes, John Renahan to fill in for Jay.
Okay. Okay, great. All right. All in favor, please signify by saying aye and raise your hand. Aye.
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 All opposed, please say aye. Hearing none, and any abstentions? I guess, does Jim technically have to abstain?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So we have an abstention. All right. The motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Calciano.
Thank you.
Okay. And then on to our third agenda item. Ms. Bradley is here on behalf of Ms. Porter's school. And if you could please just state your name and the address you're representing for the record, and then please proceed with your presentation. Thank you.
Hello, my name's Katie Bradley. I'm here today representing Miss Porter School at 60 Main Street, Farmington, Connecticut. And the application is for 59 Main Street, which is our gold yellow dorm on the corner of Mountain and Main. It's a yellowish building. We have several years ago had your permission to install, well, actually to replace a wooden fence, a decorative fence. There it is in the picture. We replaced the wood with a composite material that looks very much like wood. And we did the entire front of the two buildings, 59 and 63 Main, and then up to one walkway on the side, on the mountain road side. And then from that point on, up until this past year, there were shrubs that actually then went from the sidewalk all the way up to the driveway. As you remember, I've been here asking for permission in the past for transformers and updating the electrical in those buildings, all of those 5 dorms on that side of the street. And one of the things that we had to do when we were updating the electrical is we had to take the shrubs out. They were damaged and overgrown. It also had been causing some problems with people exiting and having a safe view of the sidewalk and the street as they were coming out of the parking lot behind the building. So at that point in time, we kept the shrubs in, but then decided, except the 1 or 2 that were missing, found it was really hard to find a replacement that were the size of the shrubs that we took out, and pretty much then realized that the additional fencing would actually look really nice, better than the big overgrown shrubs that were covering the driveway, the sidewalk, excuse me. So we're asking for permission to just continue with the same fencing that's made by Walpole. And it's 170 feet additional feet going up from the sidewalk to the edge of the driveway that leads to the parking lot behind 59 Main.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll open up to questions and comments from the commissioners, and we'll start with Mr. Calciano.
Yes, Katie, that fence was a great asset. It's holding up really well. So I am all in favor of the continuation.
Thank you. Ms. Hatzenbuehler?
I would just echo that the continuance of trying to update this fence is a really good thing. And you know, your buildings are beautiful. You've done a lot of nice work. So this is just one more thing.
Thank you. Mr. Renahan?
Yeah, Katie, first of all, thank you for the work with the transformers. Like how those ended up being installed was a real win, kind of back from their original position. So awesome work there. My only question here with the fence is, the way the current fence sits is like on stone. And so I'm a little bit concerned that the pitch as you go up that walk, like the fence is completely level, like the white fence. So knowing that it's pitched at an angle, will the fence be level to the existing fence or will it descend down?
Well, so at that point, because of the grade change, we will not need the brownstone. We won't need the brownstone under the fence. It will just pitch up and follow the grade, but it will start at the height where it's left off. So if it's, I don't know the height off the top of my head, but when you are looking at the side of the Colony dorm, which is when you're standing on Mountain Road, the post that is currently there that ends the fence as it rounds the corner, that next post will be at the same height, and then it will, someone help me with the term, that the fence will stay the same height consistently all the way up, and it's, there's a term when you—
It's a rack.
Thank you, rack. It will rack up so that the spindles are perpendicular to—
Correct.
So they're straight. They're going to look straight, even though the bottom rail and the top rail will follow the grade of the property.
The pickets will be perpendicular, basically.
Thank you.
To the ground.
That's it. Thank you. That's good for me. I just wanted to confirm that.
Mr. Sanford?
I think it'll be a great addition. I'm all in favor.
Mr. Bombara?
Yeah, John hit on the issue I had, and I just want to make sure. So you use the term rack. You mean it's going to sort of step up in height as you come up? So if I'm looking at it, it's not going to be one continuous line. It's going to step up as you come up Mountain Road.
So I do not believe that it's going to step up. I think what is going to happen is from that post that will be where it starts on the other side of the sidewalk, there will be posts equally spaced, but it will be racked and not. So the bottom rail will follow the contour of the property, and that will be at an angle, but the pickets, the spindles will be perpendicular to the first post and the last post.
So you're saying that it's going to be cut at an angle on the bottom like this to go along the grade?
Right, that's how they rack it, Jay.
So the top will still be, so each spindle will be the same height. It's just they will gradually go up the grade and meet the grade. And that the bottom band of solid white will be going at an angle up.
I will say, and again, I don't know how much you've measured, but I think you're going to, at some point, be into the ground if that's what you're going to try to do. That's a pretty steep grade there. I don't think that's going to quite work, or at least you're going to have a very odd, the end of the fence will be about this tall at best.
No. Each spindle will be the exact same height. So if it's 5 feet, the first one will be 5 feet and the last one will be 5 feet. Jim, help me explain how the racking works.
So there's going to be sections, and those sections are going to be different heights. Am I right, Jim?
No.
Or Katie?
No.
I don't think it's by section. I think the entire thing will just pitch like this. So
that's the racking. The
Yes.
pickets will be the same height. They're just going to take a picture something rectangular.
The top's not going to be level. How's that? The top's going to be like this.
And
yes,
the bottom too.
and the bottom.
It's all going to be the same. They just
But it's
rack
gonna-
it.
But it's not going to be level. It's not. I mean, it's not going to be.
It's not going to be level on the bottom because it's going to follow the contour of the land.
Or the top. The top's going to do the same thing.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, that's. I mean, honestly, that's why I understood. That's why the bushes have been there. It's going to look different. I think it'll probably look fine, but it's not. You're going to lose that sort of, I don't know what the right word is, but there is a certain, if you look at the existing fence, there's a nice level, all at the same height area that it makes around it. Now you're going to be having this piece that comes up in the back that comes up like a tail. It'll probably be fine. I'm just pointing that out. Plus, you're not going to have the nice base that goes around as well. What about there's an opening. Are you going to have a gate there, and are you going to have that similar, I don't know what you call it, the piece that goes across with the lantern coming down?
We did not plan to do that metal bracket that goes over that we have on Main Street. We were just going to have the 2 posts to delineate the beginning and end of or on either side of the sidewalk. And we already took 1 sidewalk out that went to nowhere.
Where was the arch on the sidewalk that goes to the existing door, right?
I believe
Right,
there's
we were
2.
not planning to do that. It is on Main Street going to the front of the dorm, but we were not planning to do it on the side.
Right, but it had it.
It's existing. There's no lantern there, but I believe the arch is there. So you're going to remove that.
Well, I don't believe there's a post on the other side of the.
I don't know.
Go through my photographs, but I know there's an arch.
Can
I
we
don't
go to
believe.
Google? If you go to Google and try to do Mountain Road, maybe you could see what's there.
If it's there and there's already an arch, then we're keeping it. I apologize that I can't remember.
That's okay. And I'm, I know I'm being picky, and I mean, I'm fine with what you guys want to do. I just want to make sure everybody's understanding what we can expect when it's done.
If it's there, Jay, that's a good catch. I like
Yeah,
it.
if it's there, of course, we're going to keep it, but
And if it's not, sorry.
yeah. If it's not, I mean, we had not planned on putting.
No, if it's not there, that's fine. But I do like the lantern. The lantern is, Katie, I'm sure you're aware, I've seen some of the old photos. that's probably been there. That design, I don't know if it's that specific lantern, but they've had a lantern there for at least 100.
Right, we took that arch from the original wood fence when we took it down, and we kept it, and we kept the lantern.
Well, rather than try to figure out whether it's there, what I would say is maybe if, Katie, you're open to it, the motion would simply be that if there is an arch there, that you would preserve the arch and
Yes,
and
we will
put the
definitely
lantern
do
there
that.
that matches the other lantern. Okay. Now, I'm fine with this. I mean, I know that, I guess I have a lot of confidence that when Ms. Porter's gets into this, if they find design issues, that they're gonna be the first ones to raise them. So I'm comfortable with this.
Thank you. Ms. Gemske?
I actually like the idea of extending the fence. I thought the shrubs were way overgrown and a little messy, so I like the idea of having a fence going up. I think it'll look nice.
Thank you. Are there any other questions or comments from the commissioners? Catherine, I have a question for you. Is that 48-inch regulation going to apply here or should apply here as well?
I'll have to look what they've been previously permitted for the existing fence. But yes, along the road, it's 48 inches, or excuse me, 4 feet, same thing.
But this it was existing on the front, so a continuation should be not a problem.
We'll check.
So I do have a photo that I sent to Sandy, but it was probably too late to get it in today. But it's a beautiful photo of that fence in the 1800s to the left.
Okay.
And that is the wood fence that went after, 100 years of scraping and bondoing and painting every year that we replaced with the composite material. But we copied that exactly with the town's permission.
Nice. Nice.
Good shot.
Thank you very much. Any final questions or comments from commissioners? All right, hearing none. Town Councilor Connolly?
Hi there, I didn't know who to send this to, so I just sent 2 images to you, Jim. I emailed them, one of a racked fence and one of a stepped fence. Maybe
Yep.
those images would help kind of clarify what you guys were just chatting about.
Right. I was going to mention to Jay that that's your choice. When you go up a hill, you either step it up, which never looks great, or you rack the fence, and it's the same all the way. It's a little convoluted. The concept is strange, but you're absolutely right. The stepped up fence is how people do it, but most people who know about design and fences, that's the cheap, easy way to do it, is to step it up, but it doesn't give you any continuity of visual a visual line. So thank you. Good.
Okay, thank you very much. If there are any questions or comments from the public, please raise your Zoom hand and Catherine will unmute you.
I see no hands raised at this point in time.
Okay, hearing none, is there a motion on this application?
I'll make a motion that we approve 59 Main Street, Women's Quarters, for the installation of the additional fence as presented in the application. I guess with the condition that if there is an existing arch, that they would maintain the arch, and hopefully, I don't know if you mind if I'll add that they install maybe you won't be able to, maybe I shouldn't add that. I was gonna say install a lantern that matches the existing lantern on Main Street.
Awesome.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye and raise your hand.
Aye.
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 All opposed, please say aye. Hearing none, and any abstentions? Hearing none. All right, the motion passes. Thank you, Ms. Bradley.
May I ask a quick question? The lantern portion. So the lantern that's there is an original existing lantern. So was your motion just approved that if the arch is there, I need to have another lantern made to
I would say, I guess, unless someone's going to give me a hard time here, consider it. I'm not going to make you guys go out and do the lantern. If it's not there, it hasn't been there.
Okay, so that's optional. That would be my first choice as well, but I don't know how far I can push. The fence alone is $42,000. So I'm doing my best, everybody.
Mhm. Wow.
Thank you very much. I don't know if anybody's here on behalf of 35 Colton Street at the moment.
We have our applicant in the room.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Mr. Nadler has joined us at Town Hall. So-
Okay, great. All right. Thank you. If you could please state your name and address that you're representing for the record, and then proceed with your presentation. Thank you.
Yeah,
Let's project.
I apologize for crashing the proceedings. When I got the notice a month ago, it said it'd be in person or online. And so I just thought I'd do it in person, but anyway, the name is William Negler, 35 Colton Street in Farmington. And I think, unlike the other ones, people are going to have a very hard time telling anything has been installed. But I sent some pictures showing what the view would be, and the house is on a hill, and okay, I put a plastic box there, which is approximately the color, half the height of what the generator would be. Now that's
I'm gonna just rotate, excuse me. With this computer, I don't have the option. So
Everyone turn your heads.
please, sorry, I apologize. I should have rotated these before I got
anyway,
in here.
that's the view right from the corner of the house, which is about 115 feet from the street. We want to put it there because the other three sides of the house are the parts that are really in view. The back of the house, which is where people might ordinarily put it, is actually the main entrance to the house. The main walk goes up, the main windows and everything. So we didn't want it there. The location we're proposing it is out of view of the house. There's a 50-foot belt of woods between our property line and the Sacred Retreat Center. And then on the other side of that is a large parking lot. And the Retreat Center buildings themselves are all way up the hill, way to the right. So it's wouldn't be visible from there. And as I say, it would be almost invisible from the street.
Okay. Thank you very much. We'll open it up to questions and comments from the commissioners, and let's start first with Mr. Sanford.
So if I'm understanding correctly, if you face the house from Colton Street, the generator will be on the left. Is that correct?
Yeah, on the left of the house, yes.
Yeah, all right. Yeah,
You're seeing it from the end.
So I took
up there, yeah.
these photos. So.
I think people would be hard pressed to see that. I have no problem with it.
Okay, thank you very much. Ms. Gemske?
So there is woods is that right? Woods in between the view?
Oh, the woods are
Over on the,
yeah.
on the left?
No, the woods are there on the left. The woods are between our property line and of course where the generator would be and the retreat center. The woods are almost entirely on the retreat center land. In fact, they are entirely on its land.
Okay.
And yeah, there's our house there. You can see the retreat center buildings are all way up there. There's a large parking lot, which you can see part of just opposite our house. But as I say, the woods really mask everything on that side.
Okay. Just needed to clarify that. Thank you.
Mr. Calciano.
No problem. I think we've seen this before. It looks like the right spot, and I'm okay with it.
Thank you very much. Mr. Bombara.
Yeah, I agree with what's been said about it. I honestly don't think you're going to see this thing from Colton. I went by there today, those stairs. I mean, even that photo, it looks like somebody was elevated on the high side of the road from the other side. So I'm not at all concerned. I don't think you'll see it. And even if you can, it'll just be this tiny little piece at the top. And it's obviously a necessity for the house. I'm all in favor.
Thank you. Ms. Hatzenbuehler.
No, I support it as well. I don't have any questions or comments.
Mr. Renahan.
No questions.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from the commissioners? I think we've asked this question before, and I'm just curious, Catherine, is there a regulation on distance from property line for generators?
Not for generators.
No. Okay.
They're allowed in the side yard.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. If there are any questions or comments from the public, please raise your Zoom hand and Catherine will unmute you.
Busy public hearing. There are no hands raised at this point in time.
Okay, hearing none. Is there a motion on this application?
I'll make a motion that we approve a temporary certificate of appropriateness for 35 Colton Street for the installation of a generator as in accordance with the plan as submitted.
Thank you very much. We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, motion is second. Is there any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye and raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say aye. Hearing none, and any abstentions? Hearing none. Okay, the motion passes. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining the town staff in person. All right, and on to our fifth agenda item. I believe Mr. Raynone is here on behalf of 781 Farmington Avenue. If you could please state your name and the address you're representing for the record, and then please proceed with your presentation.
Hello, everyone. My name is Andrew Raynone with the Horton Group, representing Bank of America at 781 Farmington Ave. We're looking to install security lighting to meet the bank security guidelines. The 24-hour ATM light depository and associate entry lighting is actually state law in Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and New York. It is not yet in Connecticut, but the bank still likes to meet those guidelines. So we have some colonial wall mount fixtures and pole lights we'd like to install on the property.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll just give the commissioners a moment here to look through these materials as we're scrolling. Maybe we could pause or zoom in on that one just for a moment, please. Okay. All right, so let's open it up to questions and comments from the commissioners. Let's start first with Mr. Sanford.
So there's some existing lights in the rear of the building. You're replacing those?
Correct. So the existing pole lights are shoebox fixtures. We're going to put in the colonial downlighting that we supplied cut sheets for in place of those. So existing poles with a new adapter and fixture.
Okay. No additional poles, just replacing the existing?
Correct. We are only replacing existing poles, and there are some new wall mount fixtures, but in terms of pole lighting, it will remain the same and at the same height.
All right, and the wall mount ones, looks like one at the ATM, two at the ATM, and
So the two at the ATM in green are being removed. The one in blue is one 2x2 flush mount canopy mount fixture just getting installed above the ATM on that canopy ceiling.
okay,
And then the blue fixtures on the building itself are going to be additional wall mount fixtures, colonial style.
okay. And then I think I saw from the specs that these are dimmable, is that correct?
Yes, but we'll just have them at full brightness all hours of night.
Okay, is that required by the
bank security
codes?
standard. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
All right. And then I think we've been requiring night sky compliant. Is that correct? Other
Yes.
commissioners?
Yes.
All these fixtures are dark sky compliant, full cutoff LED.
Okay. All right, those are my only questions.
Great, thank you very much. Mr. Renahan?
So I'm kind of studying this more. Again, could you, I get to replace the existing, but you're adding new ones and those are marked with what color?
So the new ones are the ones marked in blue on the building. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fixtures.
Could we blow this up a little more? Is that possible? Great, thank you.
Thank you. And again, you're doing this to meet bank requirements or?
Correct, bank security requirements.
And I apologize, but I can't visualize the lighting that's already there. Are there pictures in the presentation of what already exists?
For what it's worth, they're these square kind of ugly things, although.
Correct. You have standard wall packs on that building now. If you look at the street view from Brickwalk Lane on the back of the property, you can see it.
Great. Where are the wall packs?
So there's one, correct, over the night depository there.
Where are the new ones going? Oh, I see. One.
So we'll have 2 on the front, 1 on the entry side of the building, so 2 on Farmington Ave, 1 on the entry lane, 2 on the rear, and then the 1 canopy mount fixture above the drive-up ATM.
Mr. Renahan, did you have any other questions or comments?
Processing so keep going.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, all right, we can come back. Mr. Calciano?
Yes, we've had a lot of issues with pole lighting and the amount of lumens that these give out. So the rear parking lot ones are of great concern to me. So what do they have now for lumens, if you have that, and what are they going to have?
I know we don't have an existing foot candle chart, but we do have the proposed, and that will be within the town's guidelines, prior to planning and zoning giving us approval, I'm sure.
I'm trying to think. I know one of the issues, the town planning and zoning requires dimmable, so that if we get complaints, we can make you dim them, regardless of what the bank's requirements are. I think, Karen, you can help us on that. I'd like to know about that. We've had issues in this area on the parking lot behind the apartments where Brickwalk is from neighbors. And now we have apartments back there on the second floor of that mixed-use building. So what is this going to, how will this reflect, I guess, to the And now you've got these, the ones in the back along the property line, those are gonna be new too, right? Replaced, I take it?
Correct. Those will be new downlighting on the existing poles where they have shoebox fixtures.
Guys, I don't know, we need to know what these are gonna put out. Because we've been through this lengthy hearings on the brick walk in the back parking lot. I don't want to go through that again. The poles that were put in were dimmable, but then there was no way to dim them. So I think above all, there needs to be a dimmable switch that has to be touched if we have a problem that they can be dimmed. I know they're talking about setting them on the high end. Well, that's great, but who supersedes whom is the question I have right off the bat. I think the wall packs in the front, that probably, and maybe for that the drive-in window, probably not so much of a problem, but the parking lot lights, we need to understand.
The rear is for the associates in the winter, sir. So when they're entering the, leaving or entering the bank and it's dark out, someone doesn't run up on them. That's the main reason, because they park in the rear and they enter the rear of the building when they go to work, and especially leaving, 6 p.m. in the wintertime, someone could run up on them and try to enter the building.
Run up? What do you mean run up on them?
Somebody could try to enter the bank illegally after hours as the associates exit.
Well, I know, but we have rules as to how much light they can give off.
So Jim, I'm gonna cut in right now. This is Catherine Kramer, town planner. So we have been working with the applicant on the TPZ side to make sure that the lights being installed are all dimmable. That is, you're correct. That is a typical requirement for TPZ. We also work to make sure that there is no light transfer between property lines. And so they've submitted photometric plans. That's what I was showing here. So we are working with them because we are aware, and we have received complaints in the past about the residential units adjacent to this property.
Okay.
So those are concerns that are being worked on with the applicant and will be addressed at TPZ.
Okay.
Thank you, Catherine. Very helpful.
Mhm.
Ms. Hatzenbuehler?
Yeah, I don't have any comments. I thank Catherine for that clarification, though. That brings a lot of insight into the situation and helped me. Thank you.
And Mr. Bombara?
Yeah, again, and listening to Jim and remembering and not wanting to relitigate all these problems we had with certain other property owners, I think it's very important that we get the lighting correct. I also recall at the time that there was sort of, at least my sense was, and apologies to whoever was on that commission at the time, but the TPZ sort of either overlooked it or punted the ball, and then all of a sudden we were being looked to as a way to sort of fix the situation, which was, I personally think it's difficult for this commission to do that. I think you can argue that, the historic district can have some impact on how much lighting, perhaps, but I think we're really looking at sort of design and other aesthetic type of things. I do think that the fixtures will be an improvement. I don't know. I hope everybody else on the commission, especially those with better design eyes than I have looked at the design of the fixtures that they're planning for the poles. I think the ones on the building look okay and probably will be much less noticeable because they are affixed to the building rather than standing on poles. I will just ask clarification. Is there going to be any change to the height of the poles?
No change at all, sir.
Okay. And you said you're actually changing the poles, or you're just changing the fixture?
I'm going to use the existing pole with an adapter and change the fixture.
Okay. I don't recall what they look like. They're probably not great looking, but
they're square steel poles. If they need to be painted, we will sand them down and paint them.
They're square. That's what I was afraid of, actually. Because they do have square fixtures currently, so I understand why they're squares. The poles with the fixtures currently at least match, if you will. Putting a that fixture on a square pole is not going to be optimal, but I guess overall, I suppose we're better with the lantern or fixture that looks a little more, I don't know, historical, less boxy. I mean,
Just a heads up, that's actually the wall mount fixture that's on the screen right now. The light pole head is on a separate cut sheet.
Oh, thank you.
It's similar, but I don't want anyone to get confused. Yep, that will be the pole mount fixture, the photo on top. So we'll have a gooseneck coming down from the existing pole, and that'll be hanging beneath it.
Somehow I had it mixed up, and I thought those were ones going closer to the building. Okay, I'm glad. Thank you for pointing that out.
No problem.
Well, then that honestly probably, I guess perhaps that'll look slightly better with the square pole.
I agree. It looks like an improvement.
So, well, with that and with the fact, again, I appreciate the town planner helping out here. I mean, with the comfort level or representation being made that TPZ is going to be very careful about the lighting. And I hear there's no change in the height of the poles. I think that the lighting fixtures, which is what we're really voting on here, will be better. So no further comments or questions. Thanks, Evan.
Thanks, Jay. Any other questions or comments from any commissioners? Hearing none, if there are any questions or comments from the public, please raise your Zoom hand and Catherine will unmute you.
There are no hands raised at this point in time.
All right, hearing none, is there a motion on this application?
I'll make a motion that we approve the temporary certificate of appropriateness in accordance with the application as submitted. And if you don't mind, add a note there with the expectation that the town will be, TPZ will be approving the light amount of light.
All right, we have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All right, motion is second. Any further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye and raise your hand.
Aye.
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 All opposed, please say aye. Hearing none, and any abstentions? Hearing none, the motion passes. Thank you, Ms. Raynon. Have a good night. Okay, moving along. That concludes our public hearing for the evening. We'll be moving on to other business. It's been a little while since we've all met. I know we lost a couple commissioners as the meeting went on, but I am working with Catherine and Sandy to try to find an alternative date for us to consider, date and or time for us to consider for our meetings. So once we have more information on that, we'll bring that to the commission. Does anybody have anything else they'd like to add?
Evan, I know that the putting on my Farmington Historical Society hat on, I know that the schoolhouse on West District Road was officially brought into the Farmington Historic Properties. I guess maybe just an acknowledgement that the other houses that were brought in as well. I don't know, maybe Catherine can point those out, but it sounds like that process has been completed. And to me, congratulations to everybody on this call, both commissioners and town staff, for working on increasing the size and number of properties in the districts. And I would encourage us to continue that thought process. If you're aware of any houses, let Evan know and let the town planner know. But I know there were a couple others. I know the house on Waterville Road, I think that's a really key one. And I'm told, or I think the owner has made comments that she believes she has neighbors that would be interested as well. And I think if we focus on that, that's great. For those that aren't aware, many of those houses were built by Noah Wallace, who, as you know, is the name of the school. He was a lightning rod guy, made his money, and then he also was a developer, if you will, in Farmington, and built a lot of these turn of the 19th, early 20th century structures, which are really very interesting, unique homes, and sort of an arts and crafts style. But with that, I'll say thanks again. Thanks.
Thanks, Jay.
Yeah, and I'll just stress that if there are individuals with properties, homeowners that are interested in joining the historic district. Town staff, myself, I started compiling a list of interested individuals so that the next cycle, when we pull the historic properties list together, we have a group. So if there are any properties or homeowners that you know are interested, connect them with town staff. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Would anybody like to add anything else? Okay, on to staff report. Catherine, do you have a staff report for us?
No further report from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So we have our meeting minutes from our regular meeting on May 18, 2021, and our last regular meeting on July 20th, 2021 to consider, because we did lose a quorum toward the end there. So let's first start, please, with the May 18, 2021 minutes. I've read them and have no changes. Would anybody like to comment or make any changes on those?
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes as submitted.
All right, we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed, say aye. Hearing none, and any abstentions? Hearing none. Okay, the minutes pass. Now on to July 20th, 2021 meeting minutes. I've read them and have no changes as well. Would anybody like to comment or make any changes on those?
I haven't seen them.
I'll make a motion that we approve the July minutes as submitted.
Thank you very much. We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All right, motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed, please say aye. Hearing none, any abstentions? Hearing none, those minutes pass as well. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. This was definitely a busy meeting, but appreciate your time. Hopefully we'll get to be in person soon, and the meeting is adjourned.
Thanks, Evan.
Thank you.
Here.
You all
Thank
have
you
a
all.
good
Bye.